Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brad.
I'm Steve.
We got this big thing. We'll talk about it real quick and get it out of here.
Okay.
So I want to do a product update on this because we did the first one, and a lot of people watched it. So I figured let's give some pros and cons about it.
Sure.
You've never used one, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I guess we'll start out with the cons on my end.
Okay.
And the only thing I can say is the first time I used it, nothing would come out the airlock.
Really?
Like, I had it sealed and everything. The beer was turning from the yeast, everything, but I wasn't getting any bubbles out of the airlock. So I snugged down the top again and I pushed the bung down. And when I was pushing it down, if I held it down, I would get bubbles. But if I let it go, it wouldn't.
Huh.
So I don't know if they want you to use a certain bung.
Probably.
And all mine that fit on my regular 5 and 6 gallon carboys aren't that bung. But the beer didn't get contaminated. I've used it probably 4 times.
Have you had that problem every time?
Yes, every single time. I've never been able to get it to seal.
Well, and I guess that kind of makes sense because if you've ever used a carboy, you know, they're they're pretty hard, but you got to shove those things really in there, and that rubber does not give very much. So I could see that being an issue, and you wouldn't want to shove too hard because it is plastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty solid plastic, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, that looks like the same size.
Well, right. And
we'll have to see.
Right. But I did, speaking of that, we'll get this down for right now. I did see at Bell's, our local homebrew supply, they have different bungs now. So I'll show you, they're not the huge ones that are hollow. They're like all one piece, but they're rubber. They're not
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. They just like, they look like a cork with a hole drilled through it?
They're different.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so, to me, that is my only con. The good part about it is everything else. It's easier to lift. I'm not afraid of, dropping it with liquid in it and having the whole thing just go all over the place.
Which I've done.
Yeah.
Not with liquid,
and I did in the bathtub with nothing in it.
Yeah.
Also, when I transfer my wort from my kettle to my carboy, I use a muslin bag and I put the hose in there and then I turn it on so it catches all the trub and everything going through there. And using this, I can put the whole entire bag in there and then,
gotcha.
It's more.
Kind of filters the beer a little bit.
Another good thing I like about it is when I go to take my test of gravity, I don't have to use a thief because that's what I use on a carboy. I push a wine thief down there, get some, I dump that. On this, I can take the lid and take my little eyedropper and just get some and I'm done.
Yeah.
So there might be, and I just forgot about it, what might be a con. I can't remember now.
Well, we are thinking about that. I'll just mention a few more pros. So, not even using this, I can tell a couple things I like. Looking at this, I don't have a gasket. So, it does a tight enough seal with a beveled edge on the plastic. So, I don't have anything to worry about replacing later on or getting brittle.
Right.
So, that's really nice. Another thing, that if you don't want to transfer, because you don't care about the yeast cake at the bottom, you could do a secondary right in there and dump fruit and whatever right on there.
Especially if it's in a muslin bag. Yep, throw it in there.
So you need less carboys.
Right.
You don't have to clean one, transfer it, and then just to transfer it out again.
I figured out what it was. A blow-off tube. A standard carboy blow-off tube. I don't know if it will not fit in that hole.
This has got to be a different size then. It's got to be.
It will not fit. So that was another thing.
Yeah, it seems a little weird.
Now, you can, if you have a 3-piece airlock, you can get the quarter-inch tube or whatever and put it on there. I was just thinking about that because I made a dead ringer again, and it started going over, so I had to throw the blow-off tube in there. And I was like, I'm glad I put it in glass and not the other one, because I can't put I don't have the smaller diameter tubing or anything like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
well, I'd have to say, though, more pros than cons.
oh yeah, I think they're at this point they're well worth the money, as long, I guess, as if you can find the right bung.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm doing something wrong, but a bung is a bung and there's a hole and you put it in there.
I know there's different size ones,
Right.
but we'll check it.
So, yeah, we'll look at the one I have, the new one, and yeah, maybe I need to look online to see if they want a number 10 instead of a number 8 or something like that. But don't forget to like this or subscribe, and until next time, I'm Brad.
I'm Steve.
Happy brewing.
See you next time.